Hi, Otto here for Bavarian Autosport. In today's video, we're going to show you how easy it is to fix simple paint chips on your BMW or Mini at home, and you can do it yourself. We'll be using the paint chip repair kit, the factory BMW touch-up paint, the Dr. Color Chip Road Rash repair kit, and along with that, the Wurth Sanding Pen and our Safe Grip gloves to keep our hands from being, well, all red or some other color. So come along with us. We'll use a couple different procedures on a couple of different types of chips. Deeper, larger chips, we'll use the paint chip repair kit and the factory paint. Chips that are grouped closely together or many in an area or smaller, we'll be using the Dr. Color Chip Road Rash kit. Watch the video, you'll be able to figure out which is best for you. They each have specific uses, and then you'll have your BMW looking just like new for a fraction of the cost of a full body shop repair. Come on, let's go. All right, now, as you can see a little bit closer, we have a couple of big chips in the center of the hood here. Now, the first thing to do is use the pre-cleaner. This will remove any waxes that we've got in the area, and we'll just apply that with a rag. And we'll just clean out the chip and the area around the chip. Okay, now we need to clean out these chips so the paint can adhere properly to the metal. We'll use this Wurth Sanding Pen. This is multiple fiberglass fibers into a wider rod, and they act, when they're short and stiff, like a little piece of sanding paper. We can also, to get smaller chips, we can trim this to a sharper point as well. These big ones, we should be okay with it the way it is. So we'll go in and clean out the chips. Now, you can see I'm done with the cleaning, and you can see clean metal on each of these chips. I also, on this large one, there was a little bit of cracking of the paint around the edges, and it was a little bit lifted since this was hit from the bottom. So I took my razor knife and just cleaned right around the edges and chipped off a little bit of that loose paint, so I'm down to solid paint all the way around. And I cleaned the very edges of each of these chips too, just like this. Just scratching it in there a little bit right up to the edge of the paint. Now I've got all of my holes all set. Next stage is to lay some paint in there. All right, now for the paint, I'm using the factory BMW touch-up paint in the proper color. This one happens to be the 314 Hellrot. And we're going to just lay some paint into each of these. We don't have to be super accurate. That's the glory of this paint chip repair kit. We'll just get it on and around the chip. We actually want to lay in too much so that we have more or less a blob. So now we have our paint in. We're going to let this cure for anywhere from about 5 to 20 minutes, occasionally longer, depends on environmental time. Once this is partially cured, we don't want it all the way cured, we're going to come back with the, we'll call it the leveler fluid, and we'll bring these right down to the level of the surface of the paint for the next stage. All right, now we've been letting this paint cure probably for about 20 minutes on this one. We're going to start the removal process. If the paint's not cured enough, we'll simply pull too much paint out. We'll stop, apply more paint, and wait a little bit longer. For the moment, let's get to that. Here's the actual blob eliminator. This is what melts the paint as if it were we were using liquid sandpaper, so we don't damage the surrounding area. And we will use the card that comes with the kit, just like a credit card, and the close nap rag that comes with it too. We'd use otherwise tight high count sheet or t-shirt material if we use this all up. So let's get to that. We're going to wrap the cloth around the card so we've got a good edge, again just like sandpaper, and we'll apply some of the fluid. Just like that. I'm going to set this stuff down aside. All right, now we've got our fluid and our rag cloth set up, and we'll start, let's start on this one. We'll simply start rubbing, and you can see some of the paint is coming off already. Okay, now I can see I've pulled a lot of paint out, in fact, below the surface of the surrounding paint. So therefore, the paint was not cured quite enough. So we're going to, the smaller ones are working okay. We're going to apply a bit more paint, let it cure again, and come back and work on it a second time. You can do this however many times it takes. It's okay to experiment. The one thing you don't want to do is let the paint cure too long, then it's very difficult to remove. You can't do much wrong here. If you find that you're pulling out too much paint, it hasn't cured enough, just stop, clean up what you've done, apply more paint, and wait longer. Already, this looks a ton better than it did before we started. From a distance, those are going to go away, except for this being a dent. And that would be more body work if we pushed the dent down and then filled it after that. But this is pretty good here. We're set here. We let the paint cure, then we go back with our polish and wax. Next, we'll show you what to do when there's a lot of chips in a single area. And we'll come back with that. That'll be our road rash kit. Now, we're going to show you how the Dr. Color Chip kit for road rash repair takes care of all of these small chips in a more condensed area. With this kit, we can do all of these chips without doing each one individually. Now, the kit comes with our polishing cloth, a cleaning cloth and a glove, the custom mixed paint, and the reducer product. Let's see how these work. Okay, now we're going to apply the paint, and this step may seem odd, but it really works. Notice I don't have a brush in hand. We'll get rid of the top here. Stick our finger in the bottle, and we actually dab the chips. Smear it so it's rather smooth. And we continue with an area. Now, if we had an area that was just really blasted, like on this vehicle, down below the headlights and along the lower part of the bumper, it's actually as if you took a shotgun and just blasted grit at the pieces. And we would just continue to smear through the whole area. Get it into the chips and just smear it kind of flat in the surrounding areas. We'll do these here too. And keep it off the grill there. We could certainly remove the grill to get closer to the grill. And now with this, we only let this cure for about 3 minutes, and then we start our removal process. This paint is a little bit different from the factory paint in that respect, that it does cure faster. Now, some of these big chips, I'm actually putting extra paint into to try and fill them to the level of the surrounding paint. We can also go back multiple times to continue filling, so we don't try to do it all at one step. All right, now we've come in and we've let the paint sit for about 3 to 4 minutes. We'll find out if that's long enough once we go for the removal. If it comes off too quickly and pulls out of the chips, we'll simply stop, apply a little more, and wait longer. Here's our removal product, the solvent. We'll use that on our rag and simply wipe away in a similar manner that we did with the paint chip repair kit. Okay, now down here I can see I'm starting to pull the paint out of the chip. So we'll just do a second application there. Additionally, pulled a little bit out here, a second application. And what I'll show you on the second application, instead of just using the rag alone, we'll use it with the card, like the one that came with the paint chip repair kit. You can use any kind of a card. You could even use a credit card, an old credit card, to keep the cloth flatter so it doesn't pull into the chips. So we'll go ahead and put a little bit more paint on here, come back, and show you our second removal process. All right, now we have applied more paint to the chips, and we're going to go back at it. This time I'm using that card with the cloth, and again, you can use an old credit card or any piece of plastic you may have. We'll apply the solvent and gently work away. And this is coming out a bit better than our first attempt. We've filled a little bit deeper, and using the firm backing, the card, will certainly help not pull the paint out of the chips. Smaller chips, little microscopic ones, are not so sensitive to having the paint pulled out, but these larger ones, we really do need to use a card for that. So that area there is pretty well taken care of. Now, our chips are not fully gone, but they're filled well enough that we don't see them initially when we glance at the area, and we haven't paid $1,000 for a hood repaint. Now these here are rather large. What we'll do is keep filling this and reapplying the solvent until the paint in the chip is level with the surrounding paint. Then that will almost disappear. And we'll continue with that. We can do the whole area all around the whole car. We're on a different part of the car. This is the front fender parking light. See all of the shot blasting here. There's even more than what shows on the camera. This is the area that really shines for the Dr. Color Chip Road Rash Kit. These would be impossible to try and individually dab and take care of. They're so small and there's so many of them. Here, the smearing method for the Dr. Color Chip is perfect. We'll show you what this does in a quick application. As before, we'll use our finger to apply the paint. We're just going to do the whole area. Now, since this doesn't have deep chips, it's going to be a lot easier to take care of than where we were using this on the front of the car, trying to fill where the paint had actually pulled full away and made holes. This will go quite quickly. Now again, thin layer here, so we're going to wait that about 3 minutes as the instructions say. We'll come back and pull that off. Okay, now we've waited about 3 minutes. Again, we're going to use the solvent. This time we'll just use our soft, tight nap cloth rather than the card. We won't have large chips that we're trying not to pull the paint out of, so the cloth will work just fine here. And lightly, we'll just scrub the whole area. Again, light pressure, let the solvent do the work. We're pulling off a fair amount of paint, so as soon as it feels like it's pulling, either add more solvent or get a fresh area of the cloth, depending. We're getting loaded up here, so time for a fresh area. More solvent. You can actually feel the paint underneath when you're on areas that have the excess paint. The rag drags a little bit. Okay, that looks like we're all complete, and we don't see one of those probably hundreds of little white chips. This is where the Dr. Color Chip system does wonders, whether it's on the sides here, the front edges of your rear fenders, or all the way along the front bumper. This is what makes it shine. This looks like you did a repaint. I can't even see outside of the camera any of those little chips anymore. Okay, so what did we see today? We saw doing do-it-yourself repairs for various different types of paint chips, from small individual chips, larger individual chips, to groupings of a lot of small little chips like we had right here. We used the paint chip repair kit and the factory paint in order to fill the larger individual chips. This will always work better as you can build the paint up a little bit heavier and then do multiple applications on the individual larger chips. We used the Dr. Color Chip Road Rash Kit for areas where we had multiple chips in a close area, such as over on the front of the hood and especially right here, and it worked wonders. As with the paint chip repair kit, if our first application doesn't fully fill, we just go back for a second application, sometimes even a third. You saw that this one did great with one single application with all those small little, call them shotgun chips. So with that, you can give us a call at Bavarian Autosport. Go online at bavauto.com. This is called the paint chip repair kit, the road rash kit, and again the factory touch-up paint. You will need your factory color code and name. The color code label will be under the hood, usually on the strut tower or along the radiator support or on the underside of the hood. If you need help finding that label, just give us a call. We can check it out for you. We can look up your VIN number or we can tell you where to look for the label. Now if you like this video, please remember to hit the like key as well as send us some comments. Let us know how we're doing and also let us know what you'd like to see in the future. With that, go out and make your BMW or Mini look just a little bit better. Thank you.